guys, today we have a special guest at the tavern. Today we have former NWA World Champion and one of the hottest stars in professional wrestling today. You've seen her on NWA and AEW, from the graveyards of Tijuana, the unstoppable Thunder Rosa. Thunder, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I am working. So I'm not working, but I'm here in Jacksonville. So I'm really happy I'm able to actually work, get out of my house and be healthy, because healthy is wealth. Definitely.
Absolutely.
2021. Yeah.
How you like it in Jacksonville?
I mean, it is. I stay in the room all the time, so I go out. I only go to like for a run or whatever, and then I just come to work. I haven't really had a chance to explore the city. Last time I tried to explore, but I got stuck at Walmart in a not very nice neighborhood, and I was just calling my husband and be like, I stayed on the phone with my husband for like 30 minutes. Like, man, I thought Oakland was like rough, but mother of Lord, this place is rough.
I've heard Jacksonville has some spots.
Yeah, some seedy spots.
Yeah, I mean, they do. I mean, we're by downtown, and like when you're coming in, that's one of the things that for me is one of the saddest things I can see, because every time I go to the Bay Area, I love the Bay Area. That's where I came up on wrestling, and there's a place that I did a lot of social work, organizing and everything. And to see what the pandemic has done to a lot of families and a lot of people that were already at risk, it really breaks my heart. So every time I pass by and I see all the tents there, it just breaks my heart, because I know like once you get in there, it's so hard to get out of that situation.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of friends. I lived in LA for about 5 years, and a lot of my friends are still there, and they said it's gotten so bad in Los Angeles right now. Like, oh,
it's horrible. I went to visit May in Hollywood. She lives in Hollywood, and literally like she walked with me a couple of blocks from where she stayed, and it's just like shantytown. It's really, really sad. She said that it wasn't that bad. She's been in that area for quite a while now, and it's just been, California has been hit really, really hard with, the economy, pandemic, everything.
Yeah. So not to switch subjects, but you started training in your late 20s and become a professional wrestler. Can you talk a little bit about those early days of training and the pain and the challenges and the sacrifices that you had to go through?
Yes, actually it was on Facebook, because I'm working on a project right now, and I was looking for pictures when I was little, not when I was in, wrestling school. But a lot of pictures came out when I started, wrestling the first couple of months. I think for me, the first pain in the ass was losing all the money that I put on a school. I paid, my husband and I, we applied for a bunch of scholarships for him to go to college. And with that money, we paid for my wrestling school. Maybe like a month after the guy that was the owner of the school dies, which means the school's gone, and my money was completely gone. It was like $3,000.
Oh no.
Yes. So from right in there, I was like, man, now to find another reputable school, because I'm all about a reputable school. Like, I graduated from UC Berkeley, and if I'm going to go into a school, I have to go to a school where like people that made it and they're in the business, that's where I want to go. Right.
Right.
So that's when I wanted to go to APW Hayward. I mean, a lot of like people with name, they went there, they trained there, and some of them teach there. Sarah Del Rey graduated from there. Cheerleader Melissa graduated from there. Predominant women graduated from there. So I was like, for me, my goal was like, I wanted to fill those shoes. I want to be the next girl that made it out of APW, right? But unfortunately, I didn't make it there. So I went to Hood Slam, and I remember we were doing a lot of like advanced stuff, and I wasn't ready. Like, I mean, I'm older. Like, I never really like took any like gymnastics. I didn't know how to roll. I didn't know how to bump. I had no body control, nothing. So I had to learn all of that when I was older. Like, playing sports, it came when I started college. Now when I was when I was young, because my parents wouldn't allow me until we didn't have the money to do that. So when I remember taking my first snap bump, I felt like I had a concussion. Like, it was horrible. Being chopped, being smashed, like it was rough. And I remember like my first month at the school physically wasn't as bad, because I prepared myself 6 months prior to like signing up to the class, because how they had it set up, like we had 2 weeks of Hell Week, which is nothing but just like kind of like military style like workouts, and it was brutal. Like for 3 hours we'd be working out, running, push-ups, squats, till we die, lunges, sprints, like more push-ups, lion push-ups, all kinds of push-ups and abs, and like it was crazy. But I was like the girl at the end, like when all the guys were like bitching, or like you have that big boy that he like typical, like, well, you want to be a wrestler? I always want to be a wrestler since I was a young kid. And like, I've been watching WWE, man. It's my passion, brother. It's my passion. I was like, bro, you're going to quit in like a week. Get that out of here. First one quitting, it was him, right? So I've seen a lot of those guys. But whatever. And I was the only girl in the class too. The only girl. And the oldest women in the class too. So it was like me and another guy, we were like the oldest in there. We're 26, 27. And we were the ones who were like the fastest, like the ones that we weren't whining, like we're the ones on a diet and stuff. So it was like that mentally, like I couldn't whine because my husband was always watching me too. So if I will like, you see a tear coming, like rolling down my cheek, he'll be like, what is that? What's that?
The pandemic's been really hard on everyone, obviously, but I feel like the pro wrestling world has really rolled with the punches, arguably better than any other sports industry. And I think you're a testament to that, because you were on fire in the NWA and then the pandemic hit, and yet you've managed to kind of become even bigger as a star during these tough times. Can you talk about your initial feelings when the pandemic hit and NWA kind of closed its doors for the time being?
It was a little scary, right? Because we had a bunch of stuff planned, I just won my championship from there, and I won my championship in Japan, and there were so many plans for me to defend, travel, and all this stuff, and everything stopped. So I had to evolve. Like I had to use social media to become and stay relevant. And I really work on what I wanted to do. Like I went and focused myself on MMA and just started training MMA and started doing stuff like that. I started being more active on what I was doing on social media. I'm like working on my website, working on new things that I knew I had control over, instead of thinking like, man, I'm not going to be able to wrestle. Man, this is like, man, and feeling sorry for myself. Because once that happens, you're done. I was going to start gaining weight. I was going to get depressed, and it was just like, I can't let that happen. I mean, I have to take care of my son, my dog, my husband. I have goals in life. I have financial goals that I have to achieve. So having the pandemic really made me think, okay, how do I have to change and switch gears and do things different for me to stay active, right? And I will say I have to be very fortunate that I live in Texas. So they open doors to a lot of things a lot quicker than in other states, right? So I was lucky that I was able to do like studio wrestling with a Title Match Network, which I appreciate telling him and a lot of the girls that we appreciate you, because he I record a lot of the matches for him for him to have more stuff on his network, and he pays us and he treat us right. And then we were able to repackage Mission Pro Wrestling, and we created Mission Pro Wrestling, or revamp it in a way where we weren't expecting to get the results that we got in the last 4 shows. We're able to run the shows with people, of course, everybody with the safety guidelines, and the shows had been very, very successful. And with that, like just studio wrestling was like popping, and people were like, hey, we want Thunderous to come and defend the NWA championship. Like at one point I defended my championship like 5 times in a week, and then it was insane. And I was having some dope matches too. It wasn't like I was just having matches. I was having matches and people still talk about it.
Oh yeah, that match you had with Priscilla Kelly at Primetime Live was a barn burner.
Dude, and then, I was so pissed because one, like when it was live, not like maybe like 200 people watched that match, and it was like so good. And it was like a 30-minute match. And I'm like, yo, I'm so mad at this, but then they release it and now people can watch it, and they keep saying like, you guys did an amazing job. And it was like, the moment they were like, you're gonna wrestle this person, and I was like, I will look at the person and I'll be like, you're gonna have one of the best matches you ever had in a while. I'll make sure you will, you know, because that's my goal. Like, I just want to have fun and kick ass in the fucking ring. Like,
yeah,
you only live once, man. I don't know if tomorrow I'm gonna have tomorrow. Like I said, I got exposed like 3 weeks ago with COVID-19, and that's it. You gotta stop. Everything needs to stop. You know, it's just, and that's what I'm saying. When I'm in the ring with whoever I'm in, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna have a banger match, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, iron match, cage match. I don't care. You know, I'm there to like for the long run and to like show why I'm La Mera Mera and why I'm one of the best in the business.
That's
awesome.
a champion mentality.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
That. So when Christopher Daniels reached out expressing interest from AEW, outside of knowing that you were exclusive to NWA, what was your initial gut reaction to the interest that they've shown?
Man, I was just like, man, I'm like, I can't do it. You know, it was a little sad, and I was like, I was a little upset, but then I was listening to a podcast, and I remember that week that Jay Shetty was talking about when sometimes like when you feel it's your time, it's not your time. Like your higher power, God always has that opportunity, but sometimes it comes at the right time, at his time, not at your time. You got to be patient, right? So I just keep repeating that to myself. I'm just keep repeating that to myself. I got to be patient. I got to be patient. If this is going to happen, it's going to happen, but it might not be tomorrow, not by me. When they ask me, it's going to be later. And then a couple weeks later, my boss called me and he's like, hey, we would like for you to like collaborate with AEW, and Tony Khan wants, these are the plans, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the guys, you know the rest.
Yeah. So once Billy Corgan and Tony Khan kind of came to that agreement to bring you into Dynamite and have that collaboration, did Billy have any words of like advice or encouragement to you going into this other company with, you know, at that time when you came in, you were the NWA Women's Champion. So did he have any like words of advice or encouragement for you?
Just that he was very happy for the opportunity and just to go and be Thunder Rosa, you know, be that NWA Women's Champion. And at that point, I know who Thunder Rosa was, and I was just like, hey, we're gonna make sure people know that I'm here, and we're gonna make sure people ask for me to come back, because that's the whole thing. It's not so much about the opportunities, about what you do with the opportunity and what comes next after that opportunity. So like I said, like my husband is one of my biggest critics and my biggest he's always like rallying for me. And that night when I got that phone call, like we walked, and then he told me, you better not shed the bed.
That's great. You need those people. You need those people in your life. I know when it happened, when you popped up on Dynamite, we were obviously losing our minds, and it was so cool to see the wrestling fan base really rally behind you coming there, because it really showed that NWA Power made an impact in the industry. You know, it was just this YouTube NWA Power at the time, I thought was one of the best hours of pro wrestling.
Oh, it was the best. I'm telling you, like
so
kids and people that never watch wrestling, and I had them watch Power. They're like, this is great. Like, this is great. And you know why? Because the stories were so easy to tell and so easy to figure it out, that they enjoy the 5-8 minute match that was there, and they understood what we're trying to do for the next show. So they were like really looking forward to it. I mean, the writing was good. The talent that we had at the time was really, really great. We were all into it. Those 2 seasons of Power for me were like some of the best moments that I can tell you in my career, because there were defining moments for a lot of us in terms of who we are as wrestlers, and there were a platform that a lot of us took. Like now Ricky is in AEW, now Eddie Kingston, which he has a huge, you know, story and a huge time in working in the indies. He's now signed on a main company, and he's being him, and he's being accepted for who he is. A lot of the our referees that were working with us got signed for AEW too. So it's been really good and really amazing.
Now, walk us through a day during the NWA Power tapings. What were those tapings like when you guys would go in and film all these stories? It seems like you guys really rallied together as a team.
No, we did. We will get there around like 2 We had a meeting. Then everybody will split. They will give us our storylines. We'll get our agents. My agent was always Trevor Murdoch. So I will have to say that I'm really thankful to Trevor Murdoch from having long conversations with me about who I should be and why people should respect me. He's like one of those guys, and we're like, you got to believe in yourself, you know. And I remember he looked at me that first time I got in the ring. He's like, hey, you know what I want you to show the world? And I was like, what? Why women kick ass? So you better go out there and kick some real ass because you are a badass bitch. And I was like, "Hey, sir."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of that. It was like very encouraging. And our writer and our editor at that time, Dave Lagana, he worked with a lot of us, and he was very invested in like the whole entire story and everything. And especially for like having Melina, Marty, and I together, like having a Latino group together, for me was one of the most special things that I've seen on TV ever, because you don't see that kind of stuff.
You guys were great together.
Exactly. And it was really great. And so there's a lot of good stuff about it in terms of like the women's division and NWA. And I'm really sad that like 99.9% of the women that were there are not there anymore.
I know.
I'm still NWA. Like, let's keep it real. You know, I'm contracted with NWA for the remaining of this year. So I am here representing NWA still. But like I said, AEW treats me really, really well. They're awesome people. The management have been completely amazing with us, and you know, just the collaboration that exists with NWA and AEW is really good. I mean, Serena Deeb is now the champion for the women's division in the NWA. So, which I will come and get that championship whenever I get a chance, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, so it's like we're still collaborating with them. So because people are like, oh, why you're not signed yet? Because I am with NWA.
Right. Have you heard any news on NWA Power returning? Because I think right now, with you guys like Serena Deeb being the champion and you working a lot on AEW Dynamite, when they bring back Power, I mean, it could even bring more eyes with that healthy partnership between you two.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it all depends on how the pandemic is panning out, right? And like how quickly we can get things under control, because they want to make sure they want to have fans in attendance. So it's kind of hard to say. So whenever that happens, I will be ready. Like I said, I'm a team player. I'm hoping that we bring new talent. It's always super good because, like I said, I was new talent myself. Like NWA were the first ones who wanted to bring Thunder Rosa as Thunder Rosa, not as a masked wrestler, not as like some dumb freaking character. It was me, and that's what helped me to be where I am. And like I said, it like the fact that they trusted me with the championship, and after getting the championship, what I did with it, you know, it was very, very special in my career.
So you've become a staple at AEW shows in the recent months. What's your thoughts on their women's division at the moment? And have you taken part in any of Dustin Rhodes' training sessions?
I mean, he's our main trainer. So every time that we are asked to go training, I'll go training with them. I enjoy training. Like I said, the best of the world. I never stop training. Never. And that's one of my things, that I will never stop training, because this is my job and I want to be the best that I can be. Right. The women's division, it's a work in progress. I mean, AEW is still really young, man. And a lot of the women are very, very young in the business too. And a lot of them didn't work TV ever. And this is the first time that they're working TV there. I see a lot of advancements and positive things for the ladies. I'm personally like, I when I see something and I know that I can help, whatever, like I go directly to them. I was like, hey, would you like to work with me? We can work on whatever. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Always encouraging everybody to do their best. That's always been me. And some people don't like that, but I think sometimes we have to push each other to be the best that we can be, especially if we want to represent the women's division in a positive way. And we want to show all the naysayers and all the critics that it takes time and it takes a lot of effort, and we all put in the effort, extras, sign talent, everybody. And even the weird cousin that keeps showing showing up on Dynamite. So, yeah, I mean, I look forward to come here and kick ass on anything, cutting promos, on training, on like just whatever. It's like this is such a cool experience, man. I cannot be more blessed. I will say that to be in like be part of both worlds, right? I'm in a very particular and nice place, and like I said, I enjoy being part of like that like revamp of like whatever, because that's what a lot of like the writers for PWI were saying, that ever since they brought me, like they feel like there was like a revival of like the women's division at AEW, and just for them to put the name in there is like, it's very humbling, right? That a subject from NWA can come and do that and help AEW women's division.
Is that kind of like a motivating factor? Because I know you've said in the past that before working there, you were kind of critical of AEW not really giving the women enough time on TV. So is it a motivating factor for you to kind of
absolutely, man? Like we got to show with our hard work and great matches that women deserve the time and deserve the spotlight. And I'm gonna keep saying that every time. And if I'm one of the ones that can help doing that, so be it. Why not? It's just gonna elevate everybody else in the women's division, in any women division that I belong to. I mean, I am very passionate about women's wrestling, and just being a women athlete. It's just to show that, because we have to work 3, 4, 5 times as harder than men to be respected and to be paid the same as other people are, like as the men, right? And we're just as a draw as they are, and we can just wrestle as good or even better than some of them. So absolutely.
I love that.
I will say, since you've been there, the game has definitely been stepped up in the women's division, absolutely, for sure.
You, Serena Deeb, I feel like when they brought a couple of you guys in around the same time, you can see it across the board. That division has elevated its game.
And I mean, and that's what I'm saying, is because we're all working together, and like I said, Dustin is doing an amazing job, like encouraging all the ladies with like their, shortcomings and their strengths. And then he's the type of person that he wants everybody to succeed. I love him as a trainer. And a lot of us, like Serena, she was a coach. I myself now started coaching my own school with Jazz and Rodney Mack at the Dog Pound Dojo, which is something that I never thought I would do, and I'm doing it now. And it's like, it's like having people that are like selfless and are ready to help other people is like what makes the difference, and then it changes a lot of things.
Now, you've worked with so many top companies, even, put NWA and AEW to the side. You've worked with Stardom, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, Tokyo Joshi Pro. Wow. Which promotion has given you the most rewarding experience outside of the ring, as far as just the relationships, the backstage area? What?
Every promotion has a different, like I love Lucha Underground because I learned so much about the entertainment business. I don't think if I would have ever been in Lucha Underground, I would have advanced so fast in my career. Like, that will give it up to them. Like, I had made so many network connections with them, but I will say the one that really, like, I branched out and I met a lot of my best friends was Stardom. And it was not like because of what we did in the ring. It was what we created outside of the ring, like the family relations, like with Oero Tai, like with Chris Wolf, with, Holly, that she became like, she's my wrestling wife, Kimura-san, with Hana, with Nikki Storm, with a lot of those girls. Like, we became really good friends outside of the ring. And even now we talk to each other. Some of us talk to each other like once or twice a year. Some of them I talk to them monthly. Some of them I talk to them like every other day, But that for me was like, I think that's the reason why I'm so willing to give, because like, for example, when I got hurt, Kimura-san and Hana took care of me for like 2 weeks when I got my concussion, and it was really, really bad. Like, they took care of me. And it was like, every time we were going back to Japan, they will take care of us. Like, they will take out a dinner, like they will do activities with us, and they didn't have to. They had no reason to do that, but they felt like we had to do that. Then when Hana will travel and any of us were in the same area, we will take care of her, and vice versa. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm gonna do that with women that I know I can do that too, because it's like my way to repay what people have done for me in the past. And it was like, that's like my mentality, and that's why I am so big on helping other women to, you know, grow up in get up in the business and become successful. Because I know that Kimura-san was working like a person like that. Like when Rosa Negra, she got hurt. She literally broke her legs. Like her knees were messed up. Both of her knees at the same time in Stardom.
Oh God.
She was sent to Puerto Rico with no money. Zero money for the surgery, for nothing. So we were in Japan. That was like the last tour that I did for Stardom. And Kimura-san like found it out of her heart to talk to fans, and she made us cook for the fans so we can raise money for La Rosa Negra that night. We went to this little bar, and we only raised like $500-$600. But like the little detail, that little gesture that she did to help somebody that she probably seen maybe that time that she was there, tried to help her out because she was struggling, that says a lot about the person. And I was like, I want to do something like that. I want to keep doing that stuff like that, and not just to get like, oh, I want to get my name on a newspaper or on an article. No, it's not about that. It's about helping others without, you know, getting something back. And that for like La Rosa was big.
Yeah. You talked about your scary concussion you had in Japan. Can you walk us through how that happened and what it's like being young in the sport and suffering an injury like that? And what was it like coming back from that?
Man, I swear I didn't know I had a concussion like 3 days after. Like it was with Kimura-san, because I was super young in the business. I wasn't selling for her. So she straight up gave me a head bump. Boom. Oh. It wasn't like a work head. She gave me a head bump, bro. I was like, ooh. So she gave me a head bump, and then I wasn't feeling sick or anything. So I was good for like I said, 3 days. And then, do you want to take the key?
Yeah, I'm gonna change first.
All right. So I was fine. And then all of a sudden, like on the third day, I started feeling something weird in my head. Like I started feeling something coming like on the back of my head. And then the next day, I couldn't walk. I was like walking like, you know, when you get on a ship and like it's rocking.
Absolutely.
I felt like that. So I couldn't walk, and I was like nauseous, and I was really, really sick and really, really tired. I remember just wanted to go to sleep. And they're like, we got to go to training. I was like, I can't go to training like this. I'm sick. And they're like, no, you have to go to training. And I'm like, because we're about to leave. They were about to leave for a tour for 5 days. And I was like, all right. So I went, and I literally was green. Like I was so sick. I was falling asleep everywhere. And I remember they're like, oh, we got to practice our match. And I'm like, just looking at them like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I am fucking sick. Like, I'm about to throw up. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm like practicing things, and they want me to bump. And I'm like, literally like, I can't move. I can't stand up. I can't do nothing. And then the general manager back then, she saw how sick I was, because I was like sleeping. There was a little sofa there. I was sleeping there. They asked her like, what's wrong with her? She's like, I don't know. She's saying that she can't move. Like she can't walk. She looked at me. She's like, we're going to go to, Ogawa-san's house, which is the promoter. Because they didn't want to take me to a hospital either. She got a taxi. We went to the promoter's house, and I'm still like really sick. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I'm sick. She's like, no, you're not sick. You're not sick. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm not going to get paid. Like, I don't work. I don't get paid. So I'm sick or whatever they call it. And she forced him to call an ambulance. And I was like, I don't care how much you have to pay. She needs to go to the hospital. And they're going back and forth. And I'm just like, motherfuckers, just say yes or no. Like, I want to go to sleep. I feel like shit. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? They finally call the ambulance. I get on the ambulance. As soon as I get on the ambulance, I start throwing up.
Oh no.
The most scary part, this is not even the most scary part. I didn't have a visa to be working in Japan.
Oh no.
You know, I could have gotten totally or arrested or deported. So I was like,
yeah.
I was playing and I hit my head.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I went, they did the MRI, and it was obvious. It was a light concussion, which it didn't feel like a fucking light concussion. It felt like I was gonna die. And I literally was in bed for a whole week. I wasn't able to get up or nothing. And that whole week, Hana Kimura took care of me. because they went on a tour. So Kimura-san sent Hana to take care of me. And that's the reason why I felt like so close to her for so long, because if it wasn't because of her, I don't know what would have happened. I would have been completely alone, concussed, not able to like cook for myself, not able to do anything for myself. And this 14-year-old, 15-year-old at the time came, cooked for me, took care of me, made me laugh. You know, we got to know each other, and she didn't ask for anything in return.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so it was the whole month, man. It was like I didn't get paid.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you how. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tell you how much I got paid, because the general manager again advocated for me, and I said, "Hey, she needs money for food." I had no money at that point. No money. I had $500, but I couldn't fucking change them anywhere because I didn't know where the bank or nothing. I didn't know nothing. It was my first tour.
Right.
They gave me $80
Oh,
that month.
Wow.
$80, and I was like, all right. The way back and my return to wrestling, I took all the damn bumps. All of them.
Right.
Every single one of them. But I am the respect of my senpais, and at the end of my tour, all the like the Stardom cast at that time, they came to our apartment and we had a big party, and they wished me luck, and they all wanted me to come back. And it was like everybody came. Like I swear to God, and even Kimura-san, like, we don't do these parties for nobody. So I knew right there that I was like, okay, I feel special. I might be special for them to do this, you know? So, and it was like I said, I was not the only one who got injured during that time. Like, who else? My friend, Starfire, she blew her knee and they didn't pay for it either. She went to Mexico with a blown knee, and I went to visit her, and like literally she was selling stuff on the street because she couldn't wrestle anymore.
Wow.
Oh no.
No, like what I'm telling you, like some of the stuff that we have gone through because we're like following our dreams. It's like something that I don't talk about this very much. It's actually the first time that I like said it like completely like how it was. We don't talk about this stuff. Like the real sacrifices, and I'm not just talking about like, oh yeah, I left my family. Like, no, our bodies, like we almost died, and or you could have died, or like, you know, like your leg is all messed up. You can't work anymore. Even when you go back, what are you gonna do? You know, like Rosa Negra went back to Puerto Rico. She's a fitness instructor. What is she gonna do with no legs? Right? My friend Starfire, she's a professional wrestler in Mexico, and they're worse than we are here in America with a kid. Right? What is she gonna do? She got to do what she got to do. She was selling, like I said, she was selling stuff on the street. She got 2 jobs to like make ends meet. No, I was lucky. I was very lucky. I like, thankfully, like I have a big angel behind me, like, you know. But I promised to myself, and that's another reason why I'm so like, I try to help those who like want to be helped as much as possible, because I don't want them to go through what I went through, because I wanted to live my dream.
And one of the ways I feel like you've been doing a lot to give back to females in the business is you created Mission Pro Wrestling, a place to highlight women's wrestling. Can you talk about the decision to get into promoting, and what has that journey been like?
Oh man. My husband and I, we've been running shows since 2016. We had another promotion before, but it was more, it was for us, because I still felt like there was not enough spaces for women to showcase their skills. So we created the first promotion in California. We did a lot of our shows in Southern California, in LA and San Diego. Then we brought it to, Texas. And then we passed it on. Then he created Mission Pro Wrestling for fun. Him and one of my best friends. I didn't want to have nothing to do with the promotion. I was like burned out. It's a lot of work. Sometimes like you like lose more money than you make because it's expensive, right? And then with all the circumstances that happened in 2020 with, you know, X, Y, and Z, I speak out. My husband decided, he's like, dude, we should make this a women's promotion. It's time. You know, it's like a time for like no men allowed in the locker room. Everybody that works there is a female commentator. Everybody, let's do it. And I was just like, man, that's a lot of work. And he's like, let's do it. Let's do it. If we don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. You know, we always be doing crazy stuff that nobody believes is gonna work. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we did it, and we said we're gonna start running, and people started like jumping in. Like Robin Reed was our first booker. She no longer worked with us. We're very thankful. She helped us a lot. and she's now being a booker in another promotion. Then we have, Holidad and Brittany, they're commentators. Then I have a wonderful production team. Melanie, she's like a production, head production. We work with Telly, which is a title match network. We have very few men working with us, right? And everybody else is women. Our merchandise ladies, our ticket ladies, our camera ladies, our referees, all of us, our referees are females. What else we have? We try, our agents is Jazz, she's been agenting our matches. So, and we are like transitioning into like not only having women, but like gender fluid, gay, and the LGBTQ community too, part of our promotion. Why? Because we're trying to highlight the groups that have been segregated for a long time,
right?
Or that have been pushed and not like given the respect that they deserve. We started with women, but they always ask me like, are you gonna have like, transgender or whatever? Like, yeah, absolutely. Like they're just as much part of this movement that anybody else. And this is a grassroots kind of movement, because we not only do it and promote it in Texas, but we've been promoting with different organizations, and now different individuals, podcast organizers, they sponsor our shows, and then we're able to pay the women their fee, because it's expensive. Like women's wrestling is very expensive, and like we try to do our best to take care of their needs and for them to get paid, because there's a lot of promotions, and let's be real, they might be the top promotions, but they don't pay shit.
Right.
I'm gonna be straight honest with you, and it infuriates me because there were occasions and where Holiday and I, we knew the talent that we had, and not only we were not getting paid, but then we had to do the work, and then we were like, we knew that we can draw, we can do more than this. It's just like, it was just so frustrating. So I'm like, that's why I tell the girls, any girls that come and work with us, I'm like, ladies, it's not only about what we do in the ring, it's like other stuff that you guys can learn, that it has nothing to do with becoming an entertainer. That once you're retired, you can start doing this in a big company, but you have to know how to do it first, and you got to learn it somewhere. So just talking about this, I was just finishing writing the Mission Pro Wrestling Statement of Purpose, which is like 2 pages long. and it has to do a lot of empowerment, educating, and giving tools to women, and like I said, in segregated groups, to become successful in the business, or maybe somewhere in another business. All these skills, they can be used in different aspects in their lives and in their own business, which is their own brand. So we're working on it. There's a lot of stuff that we're working on this year, and it has to do with educating. And I'm not just talking about giving a seminar in the ring. It's like more than just giving a seminar on how to do great moves. It's like how to become your own business,
right?
A successful business, right? And how do you can use professional wrestling as a platform for it, right? So, because again, we are like, we have this like tunnel vision on some things, but it's like you can do so much with professional wrestling, and I'm a perfect example of that. So yeah, Mission Pro Wrestling is it's our baby. We're very proud of what we're doing. We just got highlighted on the Texas Monthly, which is a really huge magazine in Texas. And let's be honest, we live in Texas. They're not very progressive in some areas there. But we had been able to target everybody, and they're taking it really well, because they see it that we don't come with another agenda. We just come here because we want to help, right? And that's what we're doing. We have a lot of females. A lot of our fans are females. They come with their friends, with other girls. They come with their little girls, with their kids. Parents bring their little girls and the little boys. It was like the last show I was there, I was watching the matches because I was producing, and I'm just like in awe, seeing the little kids getting so excited to see La Rosa Negra versus Lacey Ryan beating the crap out of each other. And it was like, it was so amazing. And just feeling like some of these girls like have been able to like flourish and like do so much that I never thought, like that force, the four square. It will do that for them. And it's so amazing. Just like giving them that power that I feel like some people took away from them, and seeing them on every show on a different woman. And like, it's really amazing.
That's awesome.
What a great way to give. I mean, that's, you talked about your experiences and wanting to give back. That I can't think of a better way for you to give back than with Mission Pro. That sounds so awesome.
Yeah. Now you've wrestled a lot of amazing matches against a lot of amazing opponents. You've Serena D, Priscilla Kelly, Sheeta, Allison Kay, Jordan Grace, Chris Statlander, and on, Tessa Blanchard, Madison Rain. I mean, we could go on and on. Is there any particular match or opponent that you feel like you learned the most from yourself, like that really brought something out of you? Was there a particular match or opponent?
I will always say Serena and Allison Kay. Always. They always bring the best out of me. Like those are the ones that are, every time we step in the ring, it's just like magic. And like Serena is like that. She's my soulmate in the ring. Holiday is my wife, Serena is my soulmate and Allison is my mistress. So let's describe them like that.
The Holy Trinity.
Yeah, like Serena is she's a genius in the ring. Like she's like, I can't even like describe it. And then another one that challenged me a lot was Sheeta. Like I was mentally challenged. Like I remember the night before our match, I'm like literally in tears. I'm like, oh my God, like I was so nervous. And because I wanted to do well for her because it was a very important match. I was, like I said, I was brought outside of AEW because, my husband loves to troll, and then they did the open challenge and my husband like, perfect time to troll AEW. Let's see what happens. And then we're like, oh shit, we're actually going to AEW, right? We never thought it was going to happen. I remember telling him like, why are you writing that for, man? I'm going to get in trouble. Because I don't care. Like, it was great. He always be like steering the pot. And, but yeah, those are like the ones that I can say like, man, I love getting in the ring with them.
And because your husband started trolling, now you're in a feud with Dr. Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And you guys have had some really entertaining moments over the last few months. What can we expect at AEW Beach Break on February 3rd?
Well, what can you expect? Well, you better expect that I'm going to come in hot because like the disrespect that I had to put up in the last couple of weeks has been, man, I have to keep my mouth shut. No, not really. I've been trolling her. I don't hold back in social media. I mean, from that moment she said something about me, right? On Twitter, like that really pissed me off. And that's what I said. It's like, she can say whatever about that she's the face of the women's division, but it took me 1 minute promo for me to bring back the attention to the women's division and actually put some like prestige back to it. So, the stakes are really high. Not so much for me, but for her. So, I mean, let's see what happens. I already, I have my plan of action already. I've been doing a lot of studying. I've been studying a lot. Again, thankfully to MMA, I am taking things more serious. I study video more than I used to. And, I'm going to know her ins and her outs. So that's the most important part in having your strategy when you get in the ring. And she knows I'm not come here to play games. I'm not come here to cut a promo. I'm here to beat her ass. That's it. That's bottom line.
And I'm sure it's coming after the disrespect that was shown with the paint and the water. Oh yeah, I know it's coming.
It's not only that. I mean, it's like just like the subtle things that she says in her stupid talk show. Like about me and about this and about that. I mean, if you really want to say something, what I can give you my room number. You can come here and tell me in my face, right? But no, you gotta say it like that because she feels protected, because she feels like she's the top woman in the division and whatever. Now she has her own talk show, like I said, because she's always likes to be on people's business. Her and her big ass nose and her friend Reba. So so it's like that's what I'm saying. When you feel like that, you feel like you're untouchable. But Beach Break, bitch, I'm gonna show you ain't untouchable. That's for sure.
Can't wait.
I love
Cannot wait.
Now, you're such a strong role model in the professional wrestling world. You fight for women's rights. You stood up against an unfair contract situation with other wrestlers at Lucha Underground. You operate an all-female wrestling promotion. and you're an integral part right now in building bridges between wrestling promotions. How important is it to lead by example and show other pro wrestlers that you can transcend just being an entertainer and truly change the business for the better?
I think it's not so much being a role model. Like I get that a lot, that, oh man, Thunder, you're a role model. I'm not a role model. I just do what I love and I do what I'm passionate about. And that is change. When I always talk about, you know, when people are like complaining and like very upset and very bitter about their situations and they just go off on things. And I'm like, okay, you have two options. You can continue to complain and get people to support you and, you know, and join into that, or you can start doing the hard work, which is the one thing that nobody wants to do, because nobody wants to get bashed on because you're like supporting women's rights and because you're supporting women for who they are and you're not slut shaming them for what they do and for whatever, you know. Yeah, the circumstances of how people got to the top in certain instances, it's questionable, whatever. It's in the past. Like what I tell my girls and what I tell the new generations is like, if you're gonna get something, it's because you work really hard for it. You gotta show it every time, whatever you are, whatever you do. And there's certain instances where you have to be very smart what you say and how you handle things, right? And it's not always like I'm gonna go on Twitter to get all my supporters to like bash on somebody else, you know, just gonna like the other people to like bury themselves, because sometimes that's what you have to do. And again, educating other women, men, on how to, when especially when we're being harassed, what do we need to do in order for us to protect ourselves, right, and to not and to stop the harassment, because that's the worst thing that can happen to anybody, men, female, right, transgender, lesbian, it doesn't matter. It's horrible. It's horrible. I have a platform, and the platform is like, again, I'm an entertainer. I have followers. People read what I do. They follow what I say. They you know, they buy stuff. But they see that I work hard and I have, you know, my ethics and my morals, and I'm a different person, and I stood for what I believe, and that's what it is. And like I said, I'm a firm believer that you can be a good person and be successful. You don't have to be a shitty person and always have everybody in the back to get where you need to get. That's not me. That's never been me. And if, like I said, if that's what's going to cost me a big time contract, then that's going to cost me a big time contract. I know God put me in this world for a bigger reason. And sometimes it's not all about the money. You know, it's like there's something big. It's cooking. It's cooking for me. Again, I can smell it, you know.
Yeah. We smell what you're cooking.
I like the rock star. I can smell what is cooking, what God is cooking. But I don't know what it is yet. I'm working really hard on my goals right now in the present moment. I'm enjoying what I'm going through right now, which is being at AEW whenever they call me. I'm enjoying the process of booking, of promoting, of like building relationships with other businesses that had nothing to do with wrestling, and meeting other strong women that in their own businesses, they're trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do here in professional wrestling, which is, you know, to like find equity in our areas. And that's amazing when I get to like connect with that, and other men too, because we need supporters, right? It's not all about like, let's go to the women and fuck the men. Like, no, it's not like right. that. It's not like that at all. But I mean, yes, I have some feminist ideas, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like, I'm not gonna push them to people. I'm gonna be like, no, guys, like it's time for change. It's 2021. And right. And it's been quite a while. 1930s, you know, when we women were, well, not we, but you know, Mildred Burke was doing the carnivals and wrestling men, and we were just a carny show. We're not a carny show anymore. We like draw. Right. We sell tickets. We are entrepreneurs. We're selling stuff. We're creating businesses. We're giving businesses to other women, men, and everything. I mean, we have a vice president that is a woman now. So right. It's like, it's different. So again, I'm not a role model. I'm just doing what I love, and that is wrestling and social change. That's it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
All right, Thunder, before we let you go, we're going to do our shoot sixer.
Why you always do that? All you guys do is like hot fire. I'm like, fuck. What questions are going to ask me?
We like to have a little fun at the end. So just 6 questions, just kind of shoot straight. So, all right. First question, best Best face paint of all time.
I would have to say the Boogeyman, bro.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Boogeyman, man.
The good one.
That I agree. I think that's awesome.
It's it's because I sat with him and he explained to me what is every single thing that he does to his face. I was like, yeah, the Boogeyman. He takes it.
All right, question number 2. I know you've done a beer review in the past. So if you had to pick stouts or IPAs.
Oh man. Sometimes some IPAs taste like bleh. Like nasty. Depends on where they come from. But it's stouts, they're so, I will say IPAs. IPAs. Yeah.
All right. So the pandemic's over and you are making towns. You can have any 3 wrestlers, dead or alive, traveling in the car with you. Who's traveling in your car with you?
Damn, bro. That's a hard one. Dead or alive?
Yep.
I will have Medusa.
Oh, I like that.
I'll have Medusa. I will have Jazz too. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
Yes. Who else? I don't know. Mildred Burke. She was a wild woman, man. She was a wild woman.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like those 3. All right. This is a classic desert island type of question, but what's one band and one movie that your fan base would be surprised you're a fan of?
One band and one movie. I don't think that will surprise. I learned English with the Backstreet Boys.
I love it.
There you go.
Backstreet Back, all right. Okay. And then a movie that I like. Damn, that's a good one. I don't know. I always say I like the Devil's Rejects.
Oh, okay. I like that movie. That's a good one.
All right. So question 5, who would be a dream signing to Mission Pro?
Man, oof. Miko Satomura against me, man. I'm saving my pennies.
All right, final question. If you were to star in a telenovela, what kind of character would you play?
I'll be the heel. I always love the heels in the telenovelas because they're so extra. I don't know if you ever watched Maria Mercedes? I think it was Maria Mercedes on one of those movies with Talia. They always had the best, most ridiculous
over the top
heels. Over the top.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that would be me. That would totally be me.
Well, thank you so much, Thunder Rosa. It's been a blast talking to you. Definitely made me, if you couldn't already, you've made me an even bigger fan. I can't wait for Beach Break on February 3rd. Awesome time with you today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And again, guys, this is just up to like, I'm not gonna be like, follow me. Well, you can follow me on Twitter too. ThunderRosa22 on all my social medias and thunderrosa.net if you want to buy my merchandise. But if you are really passionate about something, just follow it and go for it full force. I don't think you can do anything like midway, like, like getting cold feet. No, you go full force and do it. If you fail, you fail. You try again, go and do something else. Like I said, I found the purpose in my life, and the purpose in my life has always been helping other people. Always. Even before I was doing this, I was a social worker, and I know I was doing this because that was a purpose I was in my life, and that fulfills me, and that makes me happy. And like I said, I am very happy where I am right now. I know I'm not yet where I need to be. There's a lot more stuff for Thunder Rosa and their fans. And I am super thankful for absolutely every single one of you that have been following me from the beginning of my career, and even now when you guys start seeing me at AEW, because there's a lot more that is coming for me, for Mission Pro, and for everybody else that is supporting us.
Well, we're excited to be on the ride with you and be able to watch you grow. You always have a seat here at the tavern with us, so feel free to come stop by anytime.
Well, thank you so much.